Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Matthew here with Crescent. Vale. We're doing a self-graded card review of a 1999-2000 Upper Deck Jamboree insert. This is a hollow foil. Some people call it a refractor. We've already graded one at a 9.5. Let's kind of like, there we go. Centering 9.5, edges 9.5, corners 9.5, surface 9. And essentially what I can kind of already estimate with this card, probably coming closer in at 9s than a 9.5. But that's okay. I'm getting better and more accurate with the grades. And this card, 25 years old, 26 years old. And it's still, in great condition. But this is the second time we've essentially graded it. The first one, I really enjoyed it so much. And I think does have a level of rarity to it, because there is the non-hollow version, and then there's a hollow version. And they call it a rainbow foil. Upper Deck does. I don't call it a refractor. They have some other Encore. There it is. Cards that I have one here that I haven't graded yet. We're going to be grading this one soon. Actually, I have two that we're going to be grading soon. So the Upper Deck uses the naming convention. Rainbow foil, not refractor. I think it's Tops that has the naming rights to refractor, but it's basically this kind of foil that has I think Panini called it a prism effect. But these two we're going to be grading soon. And these are the Encores, but basically it has a similar foil to the card we're currently grading. And I just find it to be a slight more rare, a little bit more on the kind of sought out after. So those are up on deck. This is what we're grading right now, and this is what we graded before at a 9.5. And you can kind of see some of the grades there. Centering 9.5, and we essentially measure the distance. Go ahead and get into our disclaimer. Each time we do a video, we always basically say that the card's grades are not guaranteed to cross over at other grading companies. The card's monetary value is not guaranteed to increase or decrease with the grades that we give it. This is basically just my best assessment at grading the card. This is now my second time grading the card, and I think I'm getting a little bit better every time. And let's get into it. So we'll start off with surface, because last time I think we gave it a 9 on the last surface. So let's see if... And what's really nice about having multiple versions of a card, you can kind of like think to yourself, is that right there part of the card, or is that a surface defect? Kind of near the hand and the ball at the top center. And you can kind of see here it is on every card. So it's nice to whenever you can cross-reference and say, is this possibly a spec, or is that a surface defect? Next to the 2-3 on his jersey, we can kind of check this out. And again, that is part of the card. I think they're lights in the rafters, but it's really nice having multiple copies of a card to be able to say, yep, that is how the card is made. That is not a surface defect. And it's possible that I maybe even thought that was brought it down to a 9, but there could have been other surface issues that led to that 9 scoring. I will say the surface, like the space between the top and the right, seems a little bit of a discrepancy. So our centering might not be a 9.5. We'll take a look at the back, but I think we're leaning towards a 9 on the centering, because it's not that far off. But, the surface, I'm not seeing any issues on the front. We gave a 9.5 on the surface last time. I think the back, there's some indentation lines. Our corners are probably going to think this back corner is one of my biggest issues of the entire card. But just like slight indentation lines, not anything major. Kind of see them running there. So probably a 9 for the surface. Oh, a little bit there. This real like faint indentation lines. I could go a 9.5 for the surface, because I really don't see too many major. It kind of feels almost like some scratches, but they also feel like just how the card was made. So in between a 9 and a 9.5 on the surface. I don't really see anything on the front, so that makes me want to kind of go 9.5. 9.5 on surface, but now we know the corner, that back right corner is going to give us some issues, so leaning towards an 8 to an 8.5 overall on the corners. Let's go ahead and see if the other corners, and I took photos of this before doing the, before starting the video, and it looks like that corner has some softening and whitening. Usually that doesn't get over an 810, 8.5 whenever you can see that. I think, can I see that? Yeah, without even zooming in, I can kind of see that. I call it the naked eye approach. So it's whitening there. Hand shaking a little bit. I think it was the angle I was holding the card. So I would say like an 8 on the corners, maybe even 8.5. Like this corner here is the, what I call like the biggest troublemaker or the biggest error. And yeah, that isn't like, yeah, that corner there and this top left corner. Yeah, it's either an 8 or 8.5. I think we're gonna go 8 on the corners. That's just, you know, we went on the surface a 9.5 and the corners were going 8. So right now we're in between an 8 and a 9.5. Let's take a look at the edges. Edges look really nice. Just sharp, no real, just clean. No real imperfections on that first edge on the left. Top edge, nothing really. I'm not seeing anything that jumps out at me as an error. Possibly, like that's almost a corner, that top left corner. We've already kind of identified that with an 8 score. We're just really identifying edges right now, and I'm not seeing anything. Maybe a little bit in this top center on the back. Faint. Not as extremely sharp as I'd like. So probably going like a 9.5 to a 9 on the edges, because I'm not seeing really any errors. It's like a little bit of a faintness. Yeah, just really nice edges on this. So we're going to go at 9.5 because I can't really find too much wrong with it. And I do my best to let my buyers know when there is something wrong, just like a faint amount of wear on the edges, not much at all. I feel like I'm a private investigator and I'm looking for errors on a card, so my buyers are not caught off guard with anything that I'm selling them. Because to be honest, I buy a lot of cards on eBay. And I don't blame a lot of the sellers. I think it just happens that somebody posts a card on eBay and they haven't really given it much thought or consideration how much the errors can impact the price of the card. But as I've been doing, I think this is around my 66th to 67th card, getting closer to 100. As I do more, I'm basically realizing like, yeah, the condition does heavily impact the price of the card. So yeah, it's kind of like a 2 millimeter to the top and then 3 to the right. I don't really have too many strong anchor points on the bottom to be able to measure that there. Is this 2.5 or 2? I'd say that's 2.5 there. I almost assume it's going to be 3 to the bottom. About 3.5 actually. So our centering is a little bit off. The last one I think we gave it 9.5 for centering. You can actually see is basically what I'm looking for is the space to the right, the space to the bottom, similar to the front, and how much that is the discrepancy to that. Basically space to the bottom from the logo, and then we can use these numbers in the top to also do some measurements. This is a good anchor point here. About 3 there. So I'm leaning towards an 8.5 to a 9 on centering. 3. There are some discrepancies. I think a 9 on the centering is a fair number. Centering 9. corner's 8, so in between those two, that's an 8.5. We have a 9 and 8.5, so that turns into a 9. So it's the card's in between a 9 and a 9.5, and I think with the corners, I think we're going to a 9 on this one. And that's just, fair, because, the quality of, like, basically this corner down here, you can kind of see it, and then you can kind of see, like, this corner here. It's just sharper. And it's not just that one corner, it's corners all over this card is a little bit sharper overall. Surface to the card, a little better. So yeah, this card does feel more of a 9.5, and this card does feel more of a 9. And that's just how we grade. We do our best to assess. And, every card is going to have a different grade, most likely. There's never one card that's kept the same for 30 plus years. And we have this one. This one's going to be the one that gets put in a slab soon at a 9. And then the one that we currently have up, I think this is like over $200. I think it would have to be eBay, go through eBay authentication. And that's fine. I really love these cards, so I'm not rushing to drop the price on them. I kind of like to hold them as long as I can. But yeah, the more we grade, the more we can refine the process. This card does feel a little bit more of a better condition. It is a great photo. Awesome photo, nice hollow foil. But yeah, this one's up at 270, I think. And then this card, since it's a 9, I'll probably take it down to maybe like starting at 200, and then it goes to like 180, 150, probably around there for the 9 score. So yeah, you can buy it raw, and feel free to buy this stuff raw. You don't have to buy my graded stuff. I'm just giving you, what I consider extra value by the extra amount of attention and detail going into the grading and review of it. But yeah, feel free to buy stuff raw. Get your best prices out there, do your best, enjoy yourself, and keep watching.